Hello. In this video, I'm going to share 8 reasons why I sold my EOS R and got the EOS R6 instead. I'm Razan. I live in Amman, Jordan. I'm a digital strategist and co-founder of Spring Technologies. I'm also a conversationalist and a filmmaking hobbyist. So what made me sell the EOS R and get the R6, although I own a Ninja V and the Viltrox speedbooster? Reason number 1, full frame 4K. Although I own only 2 RF lenses so far, the RF 50mm f1.8 and the RF 35mm f1.8 as well, 35mm is my favorite focal length, so I wanted to use that full frame. Though I'm good with numbers, but the whole hassle of calculating the focal length of every lens I put on the R with the 4K crop was not fun. I did put a sheet with all those numbers and I tried to memorize them because I'm good with numbers, but that didn't help. Especially lens choices for wide angle for these kind of videos. I was always closer to the screen. And now actually I'm using the R6 with the RF 35mm, but I'm positioned in a way that it's not that close. But of course, I'm gonna get the RF 24mm very soon. Reason number 2, I wanted 10-bit 422 with me for everyday shoots without having to take the Ninja with me. Though the recording on the R6 is only H.265 codec, it's fine with me because on the R, I almost never used all-I because of the file sizes. And because I own an Apple M1 MacBook Pro, I have no issues editing those files. Number 3, I wanted 60 frames per second, or in PAL it's 50 frames per second, internally as well, 10-bit 422 on my camera. High frame rate is amazing to use while shooting, let's say, a documentary or shooting a group of people in a certain scene of your film. Reason number 4, I wanted the better dynamic range. Thus came the C-Log 3 versus the C-Log on the R. I have to confess, I'm still very much a beginner when it comes to color grading footage, but still I wanted to continue learning with a better log format. Reason number 5, I knew I was heading into buying a cinema camera sometime in the future, maybe next year. So I wanted my next purchase, my in-between purchase, to be a good hybrid camera that can in the future become my B camera with autofocus and 10-bit 422. Reason number 6, I knew the R6 had a crop mode. Though it wasn't the same quality as the regular 4K, which is oversampled 6K to 4K. The crop mode had less quality than that. It's a 1-to-1 readout, but still usable. And I wanted to use my favorite lens, which is the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. And I used that lens with the speed booster on the EOS R in 4K. For me, the quality was good. There was some vignetting at maybe 18 all through 24, but at 28 you can get a usable image, and at 35. Reason number 7, IBIS. I love shooting handheld, so this one was obvious for me. I tried using the EOS R and it was definitely shaky, and I'm loving how stable the footage is as I stand and take small panning shots here and there. It's amazing. Last but not least is that I love the form factor and the ergonomics of the R series cameras, especially the R6. What about overheating? That was the reason I didn't get the R6 in late 2021 and I used the EOS R instead. But from my use, the only time overheating would be a problem is when I do long shoots, like when I shoot my podcast, the Detour podcast. But since I use the Ninja 5 anyway, to work around the 30-minute recording limit, I knew I was going to use it to record, especially my guest in the podcast. So I wouldn't have a problem. And there are many, many videos out there and lots of people who tested the R6 with the Ninja 5, and they reported they could record over 2 or 3 hours without overheating. So I knew I wouldn't have that problem. The camera won't overheat if you record short clips, either 25 frames per second or 50 frames per second. But I'm sure, in case I knew I needed to do a long take outside the studio, that I would take that would be rigging anyway the R6 with the Ninja 5. The R5 is an amazing camera by itself. My needs are met with the R6 because I don't care for photography specs. The R5 has a 45 megapixel sensor, which I don't need. And also, I didn't want to make that much of an investment in a hybrid camera. I wanted to save up more and buy a professional cinema camera. I'll do another video in October to show the difference between 4K, regular 4K, and cropped 4K and cropped 4K with the speed booster. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, stay well and eat fruits.